Well, happy lunchtime. Hope all good. As usual, got to change camera angle. It's a mint, that'll do it. Got a few nice house plants there on the go. Right, so I'll take the hint. Oh! Okay, so if you haven't seen it before, this is the wonderful little New Forest studio. That was a sound I patched in the other night. It's a rotary speaker. Now, any questions? Like, stick them in the chat there. So, the Black Tele. This is it's at the moment my favorite guitar for recording clean sounds like what I just played. But you tell me what you think. Check out this Telecaster. Now that she's all good and done and dusted, you know, I went through it with a fine tooth comb. Well, I've set it up, you know, new strings and a setup. And man, sometimes, you know, the little touches, they make an enormous difference. These roller saddles, like, which I took off the blue one, and going string through, because it was top pull. It was like top load when I bought it. It's great that you got the choice on this, so I can do some experiments. But these saddles have made so much difference. And it wasn't like the saddles were bad, it's just that these are better. And it's just they cinch up so beautifully. You know, it's like the other ones had like a tiny, you know, there's a tiny, if you could squeeze them and, you know, there was a bit of movement, which is not good, really. But these are wonderful. And the little roller, I mean, it'll definitely improve string life. Anyway, this thing, it's slowly becoming the clean guitar. Now, listen to it compared to the other one. That's crystal sharp, you know? I mean, for me, it's just a wonderful, wonderful clean sound. I have to say, by the way, that sound there, that I can't wait for you to hear that, like, somehow, you know, pipe it directly in from the digital recorder, you know, directly into the machine here. So get it into YouTube somehow in stereo, so you can put your headphones in and hear it as I hear it in here. I've got to somehow work out how that's done. I'm not too bright on this stuff, to be honest, as you can no doubt tell. But carry on, I guess. Get rid of that reverb. Down here is this little Vox box. I don't know if you can see that. But it's got the expression pedal on it. Oh my god, the fun you can have on it. I don't know if you noticed me injecting the reverb there whenever I like. Still people asleep in the house. I don't want to wake them up. Anyway, enough of that. Yeah, there's something I'm meddling with. It's a thing of two halves that don't really fit together too well at all. All right, Angela, good to see you. And there's two other people about, but they're not in the chat. So if anyone's got any questions, please do fire them away. But yeah, out of the two, I've got to say, you know, the Paisley burst is really starting to come out ahead. But it's a bit more of a modern take. You know, it's got the sort of more modern six saddle, you know, flat bridge, whereas the other one is the more sort of vintage, you know, ashtray bridge. They call this an ashtray bridge with the traditional three saddles. But and this is the proper sort of, you know, the full telly. That one's got the odd scoop and cutaway. This is like a, and although it's got these very modern looking sort of EMG, cheaper EMG pickups, Axle by EMG, you know, it's actually a much more traditional sounding guitar. And I really hated this headstock when I first saw Axle. I really didn't like the headstock, but as time's gone on, it's definitely grown on me. I actually like its compact sort of nature. You know, this, you know, it looks better than with a Strat headstock would on it. And Axle, they put this headstock on their Strats and their Teles and everything. And the only thing I don't, is this kind of like not as straight as a normal Tele, as like a Fender Telecaster. So I think maybe they're just using the same necks across the board, which will save them a bit of money. But I can't speak more highly for the form and fit of, like, you know, Axle guitars. They're only cheap, but they're really put together so well. I mean, they really are. They're just, but you know, crikey, compared to like when I started playing, 31 years this year, compared to when I started playing, you know, the guitars that we had, like that were available for beginners back then, the quality was awful. I mean, awful. You really had to get yourself onto a Fender, you know, for it to be any good. Yeah, you know, the Ibanez did a nice Telecaster and Tokai, but you know, and they're getting real money now. You know, they're sort of like, you know, 500-600 quid now. And I actually I didn't own it, but I used an Ibanez Tele Deluxe, you know, with the two humbuckers and the four controls. For a long time, used it in my first ever, you know, studio recording and everything. And really wish I'd have bought that guitar. But yeah, nice to have a few people here, and I hope the day finds you all well. And yeah, I'm kind of at a bit of an impasse because I don't really know what to do, you know, with YouTube. I don't really like a lot of YouTube guitarists, like, and then when you see like an authentic one, they like really pop out off the screen. And really, like, this is the best thing for people that already know me in like real life, and my friends, you know, they can actually see, you know, see having lived on a curb, like, you know, not 18 months ago, I was on a curbside, and you know, I wasn't getting benefits or anything. I was completely skint. I was, you know, as poor as it's possible to be in this country. You know, and now I'm sitting in, you know, living with my girlfriend, and got a wonderful studio together. Couldn't be happier, like, you know. And really, it's kind of important for, you know, for the friends that, you know, that do like give a shit about me, you know, for them to see that. And that's, you know, I've been doing like the Gorilla Gig podcast because it's like, you know, I've got it in mind to do it a bit better, you know, to sort of to do it like with a little gig setup, you know, with all the backline set up, and it would only take like 20 minutes, and go downstairs and put a backdrop up, and it's a case of getting it together because like that's how I'd like to do it, you know, do 20 minutes twice a week, and just do a set to camera, as if it's a show, as if it's a gig. You know, and you know, 20 minutes is the average open mic night performance. So really, doing like the open mic night performance to the camera. And there's so many, you know, it's in this day and age, it's better to sort of like, you know, point of venues. Oh, you can just see it on YouTube now. You can go and look at it on YouTube now, and that's a better demo now than I mean, we used to have to run around with cassettes, you know. In the 1990s, it was still cassettes. You still like, here's my tape. And, you know, maybe they'd listen to it. And, you know, and of course, for the longest time, it's been CDs. But I don't really think that they're a very good calling card anymore. I actually think you're better off with a, you know, maybe just actually a business card with a YouTube link on it. I think it's like the best way. But, you know, the subscriber base is growing a little bit. I mean, I was desperate to crack 100 for the longest time, for a couple of years. I'm not joking. For a couple of years, I was desperate. And now, like, you know, up to about 125 now. It's great, you know. So it's that, you know, that we tipped 100 about like 2 or 3 months ago. And now it's, so there is building, you know, it's slow. And, but I'm likely to do it with or without anyone watching. But, there's a number of things I'd like to do. Thanks, Angela. You got any questions, Angela? Stick them in the chat. And anyone else, stick them in the chat. Yeah, so do the Gorilla Gig podcast. That's going to be like, you know, gig to camera, performance to camera, my material, whatever songs I feel like doing. And there you go. That's fairly established, up to like 16 of them now, and they're all about the same. I think like the first couple, you know, it took a little while for me to find the form, but like I really, you know, I don't want to use this camera. The audio's lousy, okay, and it's complicated, like using other people's tablets. But I'll do my best. We'll have a look. I'm going to give it a try today, actually, later on today. You know, then there's this, and what I really wanted for this was it to be more of a sort of, you know, a chat really. And it's, you know, it's like you've got your chat there on the side of the screen. You can type in comments, and I can answer directly back, and I can show you around. I mean, it's like, you know, I've done it like I think so. I've been doing these streams, and it's been unboxings and showing off the new guitars, because I've been getting like a guitar every month, and yeah, but. And while we're on the subject of that, I don't know if Luke is in the chat. I don't know if it's like, Luke, I really want you to, I want your opinion on this. Start off, it's a set neck. It is set neck, and it's mahogany. But it's, it had nothing on the headstock until I put something there. For the longest time, I thought it was a stag because of the fret markers, but it isn't. You know, the headstock's the wrong shape, but I love this guitar. It's a nice, the weight. I'm going to bring it to you when I come down to Char. I'm going to bring this down, and it's just like, you know, you can see there where I've took the poker chip off. Like you can see how green the silver burst is going. You know, like the proper Gibsons do. But oh man, I love this guitar. In fact, I mean, for recording solos, this is the guitar. If it's like, you know, if it's, yeah, it's the sustain, it's just crazy. And get ready for this, Luke, if you're in the chat. Check this out, this harmonic sustain. Do you like that? Eric Clapton's Woman Tone. Harmonic sustain. But yeah, I absolutely adore this axe, and I've made a few changes to it. Like all my guitars, they get their own little thing. This one's got the chrome, the chrome brush. And there's a guy, I give a shout out, Mark, who is local chap, local to me here in the New Forest, and he sorted me out with a decent pair of pickups for this, the Kirk Hammett pickups. So that'll be cool. But yeah, basically, Luke, like, this is me Les Paul. It's nothing much, I paid less than 100 quid for it. I'm fucking never getting rid of it. I fucking play it to death. I love it. I love it. And these pickups are miserable. Like, they're the worst pickups in the house. Like, I'm not joking. They are terrible. So, like, the fact that it sounds like just so absolutely cool, like with those pickups, for recording heavy stuff. So you've seen the first two, this is the one, and I just love this guitar. And isn't it fox-colored guitar? Like, on the YouTube, it looks a bit more orange than it does in real life. It's a bit more muted, but I love this guitar for the heavy stuff, right? So yeah, I just chucked a couple of white knobs on it. I put a white strap lock on it. Just nothing. But it's got a lovely bound neck. The fretting's really good. It's a stag. It's horrible stag with horrible backplate. It's an older body maple neck, and oh my goodness, I love this thing. Probably going to pop the neck out, pop the neck pickup out, and put something else in. But so yeah. So yeah, the Gorilla Gig podcast and the and this, the live stream, which I've really only been doing at noon on Tuesday noon, because that's the first day that I did it, and I wanted to keep a routine. I'm sort of desperate to have like a few routines in my life, not too many, but a few. And yeah, that's that. And the other thing I want to do is guitar lessons, focusing on finger picking. I'm just thinking about the format on that, because a few people have messaged and just asked about that, and I think that'd be a cool thing to do. Like, sort of guitar lessons very specific to sort of my style, and that little niche corner that I've carved out. But yeah, I'm going to do some more recording today. It's going really, really well. I'm amazed at the sound quality, and I keep mining more out of this little machine. I just keep mining more and more. The other day, I discovered that I can change all the drum machine settings in there, and that it's actually got, this is unbelievable to me, because I was celebrating. I rushed in to tell my girlfriend, oh look, Behringer do a fucking an 808 clone and a 303 clone, and they're like 140 quid. I was over the moon that, like, these things are going to be affordable, with a warranty. Getting old electronics, especially complex old electronics, bit of a risk. So being able to find a clone new from Behringer, who do these wonderful clone pedals. I've already done stuff about the Ibanez clones. Do them really well. And so the fact they do synths was just fascinating. And but anyway, turns out that I've got an 808 built into this thing. I've got an 808 built into this thing. And it just astonished me. And of course I see it now. I see it in the layout, where these buttons have got 4 or 5 different uses. One of them is for the pads, all the drum machine pads. Oh man, yeah. All of these, see, it becomes a synth. It is a fucking amazing bit of kit. This, and I've really only scratched the surface because I just use it for like home recording, as it were. But as far as like it being like home recording, my word, compared to like like I used to pull my teeth out. That's how come I'm like got one tooth. I used to pull my teeth out with the agony and the effort of getting good results out of a 4-track. And, I was literally like chopping and changing machines all the time. I was in a bid for quality because I wanted it to be that like one person modular thing. And really there was only cassette 4-tracks. And I went through Fostex, Tascam, and then Yamaha were the best because they run the cassettes at a really high speed. So you actually got quite good quality on those. But you had to like really intelligently source your cassettes. You had to use cassettes that were like as small as possible, so there was no imbalance. Like a wheel weight on a car wheel, on cassettes, the weight on the reels as tape goes from one to the other, it starts disbalancing. Yeah, so you had to think intelligently and use 30-minute cassettes that are running 4 times the speed. So you've got 7.5 minutes of recording time at maximum quality. You really had to think about things, and you only had 4 tracks, so you have to have a mixing desk if you want to get your drum kit mic'd up, piped into one channel, which you can only then move. You can't have like hi-hat there, snare there in the stereo window, and all the stuff that I love to do, messing with the stereo window, which is why I'm so desperate for you to hear it. But yeah. So, and then Fostex come up with the first affordable 8 and 4-track digital standalone units, and they were really abysmal. They used zip drive, and the quality was rubbish. It wasn't really any better than what I could get out of my Yamaha, and there was nothing helping you. There was nothing like sweetening it. With this thing, it is hard to get a bad sound. If you just buy one out of the shop, take it out of the box, hit record using the internal stereo microphone, which if you yanked out that and put it in a capsule, that's 150, 200 quid microphone right there. So it's got the ability to stereo record standalone without plugging anything in. You just take it out of the box and do that, and it's a great sound. It's already got a little bit of reverb, EQ, noise suppression, compression. It's all sweetened. Wow. You have to actually work hard to fuck up the sound on that and get a bad result. And trust me, I'm working very hard. Anyway, that's going to do it. Good to see you, Angela, and it's good to see a few handful more people on the stream, and I don't know who you are. Wish you'd have said something, but if you're watching out there, I hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to do more, and it won't be crap like this. Please subscribe, obviously. I hate all that wanky YouTube shit, but if I'm trying to grow the channel like I'm growing my mint, then I guess I've got to do it. But yeah, this afternoon I'll do a Gorilla Gig podcast. It'll be like a 20-minute gig to camera. I'll do that just for you, Angela. You've been hassling me about it for ages, and you'll get your shout out there. I've been saving it for a Gorilla Gig podcast. And James, if you're in the chat, love you, man. Bless you. Be good to catch up. Good to chinwag. And yeah. Luke, if you're there, yeah, I love you guys. So I will bang my head on the screen as often as I can, And I'll see you again. Okie doke. Rock on, as Mad Malco says.